Now we're going to look at how we can create pages in WordPress. Keep in mind that WordPress pages contain static content. This is content that typically does not change. Pages will often be parts of your website, such as the About or the Contact page. These pages are designed to be resources for customers. They're often linked in navigation menus, but they are areas of the website that typically will not change on a regular basis. Pages can display any sort of content, not just text. They are meant to be informational or functional rather than blog-style content or areas where you would invite comments. Pages are designed to be permanent fixtures of a website. Unlike posts, which are typically organized by dates and categories, pages do not contain this sort of organizational content. By default, pages do not allow commenting, and pages are usually listed in the menu of the website rather than organized in a chronological type of order. You can also create parent pages, which will contain child or sub pages if you're building a larger website. Setting up your website in this way makes it easy for users to navigate and categorize topics. Before we get into building the pages, I just wanted to mention a few key points that you should keep in mind when you're creating pages in WordPress. It's always important to make a plan. So you'll want to define the page's purpose and the target audience, and you'll want to think about how you're going to structure the content. What sort of headings are you going to use? Are you going to use visuals like images, videos, bullet points, or other types of media for improved readability? When you're creating pages, write clear, concise, and engaging content that is easy for your audience to understand. This will help you optimize your content for search engines by using relevant keywords naturally and writing compelling page titles and meta descriptions. You should also include clear calls to action. We'll get into choosing page templates in a little bit, but you will want to pick a template or a design that suits your needs. Using visuals effectively to enhance the user experience will help you to create a more successful website. You'll also want to ensure that your page is responsive and mobile friendly for optimum viewing on all devices. When we create pages, we'll want to create a descriptive and SEO-friendly page slug. This is part of the URL, and I'll show you this in just a minute. You'll also want to preview the page before publishing to check for errors and ensure that it meets your expectations. It's always a good idea to test your pages on different devices like desktops, tablets, and mobile to ensure consistent display. I also recommend getting feedback from others before making your pages live. This will ensure that you have other people looking at your website, and they may notice things that don't immediately jump out at you because you're so close to the project. By following these steps, you can create high-quality WordPress pages that are engaging, informative, and effective for your audience. Let's jump into our WordPress project that we're working on, and let's create some pages. You can easily create pages by going to the Page section. From here, we have a submenu that's going to show us all of the current pages and or allow us to add new pages. I'm going to go to All Pages, and it is worth noting that there is an Add New Page here as well. The first thing I like to do in WordPress is I like to get rid of any sort of dummy content. WordPress will provide you with a couple of sample pages, and usually these are not necessary. So I'm going to select all of these pages. I'll go to Bulk Actions, and I'm going to move to the trash. Once you have chosen this, you'll need to click Apply, and you can see that the 2 pages have been moved to the trash, and now I don't have any pages in my website. I'm going to go ahead and create a new page, so I'll select Add New Page. At this point in the project, we're simply going to create new pages. We are not going to necessarily put a bunch of content on our pages yet. We'll learn about adding content in a little while. Now, when I selected new page, I was greeted with this choose pattern, which allows me to pick a default pattern. I'm just going to close this window and I'm just going to create the pages. So this first page is going to be called Home. And at this point, I'm just going to give this a meaningful name. I will revisit the page to add content and talk more about some of these other things. So I'm going to click Publish. And when you click Publish, you'll actually have to click the Publish button twice. So we'll click Publish again. At this point, I can view the page, which of course is not going to be very exciting yet, but let's just take a quick look. Here's what the page looks like. And then I'll click the back button to return. You could simply go back to your pages section of the WordPress website and select Add New Page. Or this time, I'll show you a different way that you can add a new page. The next page is going to be called About Us. I'm going to publish this. At this point, I want to create another page. I'm going to click the Add New Page over here on the right. We'll close the pattern box, and I'm just going to repeat this process a few times so that I can get all of my pages created. I'll go ahead and make all of my pages, and then I will show you what this looks like in WordPress. Now that I'm done creating my pages, I'm going to go back to the All Page section, and you can see it's going to list all of my pages. At this point, you can go in and you can edit the page. You can also delete the page or view the page. There is an option for edit, which takes us back into the same editor that we saw when we were building the pages, or there's an option for quick edit. And this just allows you to create small changes to the page, such as augmenting the title or creating the page slug, altering the date in which it was created, assigning the page to something else, assigning a template to the page, and updating the status of the page. It is possible for you to make draft pages, and if you make draft pages, they will still be saved inside of your page area, but they're not going to be part of the website yet. So this is a great choice if you are building a page, but you're not really ready to publish it live. Maybe you need more information or something like that. You might want to create it as a draft temporarily. And then that can obviously be easily changed by going into quick edit and setting it back to publish. We also have an option for pending review. This is a great choice if you're working with other people and you want someone to make sure that they review this prior to you actually publishing the website. So we do have quite a few options for how we can augment our pages and the status of the pages. It is also worth mentioning that all of the pages have something called a slug. A slug is the part of the post or the page's URL that comes after the domain name. So if we go ahead and we view this page, I'm just going to click Update for now, and then I will view this page, but I'm simply going to right-click on this and open it in a new tab so that we can see it. And you'll see a couple of different things. First of all, it says About Us -Terra Diem. The reason that it's saying this is because I assigned the site name to be Terra Diem, which is the name of my company. Here's my initial page that I had open. This says example 2. This is no longer valid. If I refresh this, you can see it's going to say the name of my company, and it will also display the tagline that we entered in the settings area. I'll close this up and we'll go back to the About Us page. And if we look at our URL, my URL has my domain name, which I'm developing locally. So this is the local name, followed by a / and then the name of the page, About-Us. It will always display your page with a dash instead of a space. So if you do assign a name to your page that has a space, when you go to that page, the slug will always display with a dash. Slugs are important for SEO. Search engines use slugs to understand the content of the page. And typically, you want to include relevant keywords in your slugs because that can improve search engine ranking. This also makes your site a little bit more user-friendly. If you use clear and concise slugs, it'll make your website easier to navigate and understand for both users and search engines. The final thing that I want to mention to you is that you can see that all of the pages that we just created are listed up here at the top of our website. This is currently the navigation that I'm using. Obviously, the order of this is in alphabetical order, which isn't necessarily a very pleasing order for a website. We will alter this and change this when we get into building our navigation. But for now, I just wanted to mention that it is going to display this in a odd looking manner. And just like everything in WordPress, this is fully customizable. So we will alter this in a little while. And that's how you create pages in WordPress.